How did Kobe Bryant score 81 points? Is he the best scorer in NBA history? Scoring is the hardest skill in basketball. Every player wants to score more points, and fans often judge scores by the numbers on the stat sheet. But is that enough? How should we evaluate a player's scoring ability? Many people look only at points per game, field goal percentage, or other statistics. However, scoring ability is about much more than numbers. It is about a player's ability to score under a wide variety of circumstances. For example, imagine a player who averages 10 points per game, with most of his scoring coming from three-point shots. One day, he scores 30 points, far above his usual average. Does that automatically mean he has become a better scorer? Not necessarily. We need to examine how those 30 points were scored. If he scored them in the same way he always does, by making three-pointers, his scoring ability may not have changed at all. Perhaps the defense was less aggressive than usual. Maybe he simply had a hot shooting night. This illustrates an important point. Scoring ability cannot be measured by the stat sheet alone. We must look deeper at the process behind the points. The key question is not simply how many points a player scores, but how many different ways he can score. Can he score against tight defense? Can he score from different spots on the floor? Can he create shots for himself when the defense takes away his first option? The greater the variety of scoring situations a player can successfully handle, the greater his scoring ability. One way to measure this is through the concept of scoring circumstance variation. This refers to the range of defensive conditions under which a player can still score effectively. A major factor is defensive intensity, the level of defensive pressure a player faces while attempting to score. These are external factors because they depend on the environment surrounding the player. However, external factors are only part of the equation. We must also consider internal factors, which are based on physical talent and athletic attributes. Physical tools such as speed, explosiveness, agility, body control, balance, strength, coordination, and touch influence a player's scoring potential regardless of era or rule changes. When comparing great scorers throughout NBA history, physical talent is one of the most useful reference points because it remains relatively constant while rules, strategies, and playing styles continue to evolve. To understand how Kobe Bryant scored 81 points, we need to analyze both the external and internal factors that shaped his scoring ability and examine the extraordinary range of scoring situations he was able to solve. Let's dive into each possession. We'll start with this early offense opportunity. As we can see, there are 3 defenders involved, roughly 60% of the entire defense. Watch Kobe's move here. This is a powerful acceleration move designed to build momentum and generate speed toward the basket. Kobe initiates contact with the primary defender and blows past him, effectively taking him out of the play. Nash isn't quick enough to rotate over and close the gap in time, with the primary defender beaten and the help defender arriving late. Kobe elevates at the rim and finishes the layup. This is a perfect example of a 3-second offense. Within just a second, Kobe uses his elite speed and strength to eliminate 2 defenders from the play. By collapsing the defense so quickly, he creates a completely open path to the basket and converts an uncontested layup. The key is not the layup itself, but how rapidly Kobe creates the advantage. The defense simply doesn't have enough time to react before the scoring opportunity is already there. Here is a pick-and-roll strategy. Kobe recognizes the help defender rotating over and immediately attacks the seam. He penetrates into the foul line area, where 2 defenders are positioned to contain the drive. Kobe then uses a hop step to split the defenders, maintaining his momentum toward the rim. As he elevates, he absorbs contact from one defender in midair and finishes through the collision. This sequence highlights Kobe's exceptional agility, body control, hang time, and strength. Notice how effortlessly he changes direction while maintaining his balance and speed. By altering his path twice, he is able to split through 3 defenders and avoid their defensive coverage. Finally, He powers through the last defender in mid-air and completes the finish at the rim. Next, here is an isolation. Look at the defensive alignment. Nash is positioned on the right side, while the primary defender is shading Kobe toward that direction. Kobe immediately recognizes the open lane on the left and attacks it without hesitation. The burst is unbelievable. In an instant, he turns a small opening into a driving lane and blows past the primary defender before the defense can react. This play showcases Kobe's elite first step and explosive acceleration. The moment he identifies an advantage, he attacks it at full speed, leaving the defense with virtually no time to recover. Here we have a pick and roll at the 45-degree angle, but notice how little space is available. The screen slows down the primary defender and creates a small driving window for Kobe. However, the help defender is already waiting on the left side, taking away the direct path to the basket. Honestly, this is a situation where most players would struggle to find a scoring solution. There is virtually no open space to attack. Yet Kobe uses his combination of strength and explosiveness to beat the help defender to the baseline. As he drives along the baseline, the primary defender recovers and stays attached to the play. Then Kobe suddenly comes to a complete stop and rises for a pull-up jumper from the corner. The primary defender reacts immediately and contests the shot as hard as possible. This is an incredibly difficult shot. Kobe is moving at full speed to get past the defender, then instantly decelerates, gathers his balance, and elevates into a jump shot. At the same time, the defender is right in front of him, providing a full contest. Anyone who has ever tried sprinting at top speed and stopping on a dime understands how difficult this is. The ability to go from maximum acceleration to complete control in an instant requires exceptional balance, body control, lower body strength, and coordination. What makes this play special is not just the shot itself, but Kobe's ability to create a scoring opportunity when the defense appears to have taken away every available option. Kobe tries to penetrate, but the defense cuts off the drive. The possession appears to be dead. This is where Kobe's signature move takes over. Pump fake, another pump fake, and then another. Finally, Kobe rises into a fadeaway jumper. The shot selection is absurd. For most players, this isn't even a shot opportunity. The drive is gone, the defense is set, and there is no space to work with. Most players would pass the ball and reset the offense. Kobe turns a dead possession into a scoring opportunity. This kind of shot would never ever appear again in the future NBA. Kobe was actually one of the pioneers of the deep three-pointer. Long before long-range shooting became a major part of the modern NBA, Kobe was already willing to take and make shots from well beyond the three-point line. In fact, his shot-making ability from deep would still compare favorably with many players in today's era, where three-point shooting has become more popular than ever. Look at this procession. This is an off-dribble fadeaway three from deep. Kobe, however, uses a classic two-motion shot. What's remarkable is that most players lower their release point when shooting from deep because it helps generate additional power. A lower release makes long-range shooting more efficient and requires less effort. Kobe doesn't do that. Despite shooting from well beyond the arc, he maintains his high two-motion release. This type of shooting form generally requires significantly more strength and power than a one-motion shot. As if that weren't difficult enough, the shot is also a fadeaway and heavily contested. Think about what that means. Kobe is shooting from deep range, using a high two-motion release, fading away from the basket, and doing it with a defender right in his face. The degree of difficulty is simply absurd. Most players would struggle to make just one of those elements work. Kobe combines all of them into a single shot and still knocks it down. Throughout this analysis, one thing becomes clear. Kobe could score under almost any circumstance. Limited space, heavy defensive pressure, dead possessions. It didn't matter. When most players ran out of options, Kobe created new ones. Kobe could score from anywhere on the court. From deep three-pointers to mid-range fadeaways to finishes at the rim, every area of the floor was a legitimate scoring threat. More importantly, he wasn't just capable of scoring from these areas. He could take over a game from any of them. This placed an impossible burden on the defense. To stop Kobe, defenders had to cover the entire floor. Yet even then, it was nearly impossible to contain him. The moment one option was taken away, Kobe would attack another, finding space and creating a shot. And even when the defense succeeded in forcing a difficult attempt, the challenge wasn't over. You could contest him perfectly. You could force him into a heavily defended shot. You could eliminate every easy option. Kobe could still make it. His ability to score against tight defense in heavy contests is arguably among the greatest in NBA history. For most players, a great contest ends the possession. For Kobe, it merely increased the degree of difficulty. Overall, Kobe possessed a phenomenal combination of physical talent and skill. His speed, strength, agility, body control, footwork, touch, and shot-making ability allowed him to score in virtually any situation imaginable. And thank you for watching.